Hey buddy, John Sundelbach here. I'm at the brand new Aldi in Greenfield, Massachusetts. And as long as I'm being a landscape architectural educator, I might as well use this as a beautiful case study. This is what happens in landscape architecture. For a commercial site, you come in and you map the land, you get the topography, you learn the vegetation, you see what the hydrology is, the soil type, the underlying geology, and there's probably a lot of other factors. You got municipal things, electric, water, sewage. Now you got internet, and all that's delivered underground, obviously, because you don't see anything. So what landscape architects do is they figure out how all that fits on the site, how much parking you need, how big the store is going to be, how the lighting works, where the parking spaces are. And this is a really good example. You can see how they heard about this line. It's called the limit of work, where they had to do work over here to get the building in, but then they have to make sure the water drains. So we're going to go around there, and you can see that the water's coming in this direction and it ends up in the drain there. And then here's a really good example of how you can see they maintained the existing conditions with these trees, but they dug down to be able to get to the parking lot. And so they left that little berm, which is kind of cool because it actually hides the cars from over in this direction, which is not so critical because there's a gas station, but in other situations, you like to use a berm. It's kind of like a ha-ha wall from old England days, where they'd kind of dig a depression, put a wall in there, and then when you were far away, you didn't see the wall. It just looked like a continuous landscape. Anyways, looks like they planted clover here, which is a good thing because it's a leguminous species that fixes nitrogen. So probably pretty poor soil, especially along here where you can see it didn't even take. Maybe they didn't plant clover there. And it even looks like they put some new site plants in. It looks like Caria japonica. So let's walk around the back here. You can see they've even got this interesting coil snake thing that keeps the siltation. So once this grows up in grass and stuff, you don't have to worry about that. But that's a temporary measure, and that'll rot away eventually, or somebody will come and take it, throw it in the woods. So they're probably going to get mad at me for walking back here. Oh, see these black things? That's mice protection. Interesting. Here's another drain. So that must lead to some underground drainage. So landscape architect designs that. Sewer. Then you can really see where the limit of work is up there at the tree line, and then they cut it down like that to accommodate, because they had to have a big flat spot to put the building. And then a landscape architect would design all of this, likely in conjunction with the architect. I don't know, they may sit down in an office once in a while and work things out, because of the way the architecture integrates into the landscape. And this is a nice detail, the way the curb dips down, and you can still walk through here without tripping. Although, I guess now I see why they put this extra big wide thing over here so the trucks can get back here, but this, in my opinion, is a waste. Nobody goes over here. What a waste of paving. Look at the expanse of this. So even landscape architects can get it wrong in 2025. This is a ridiculously wide thing for trucks to get up there, and nobody uses it. So it's kind of weird. And you can see how the landscape architect designs all the curbing, where the crosswalks go, these bollards, the fact that that's a barrier-free environment there. This is what everyone should be using for the model. People all around Chiltern Falls ought to be trying to make it so that there's handicap access. And there's a lot of places in Chiltern Falls that don't. And I know there's a grandfather clause, and I know there's a hardship clause for financial. I think that's bullshit. If you can't afford to put in the wheelchair ramp, sell the place. You don't deserve to own it, and you're discriminating against the weakest part of society, and that's handicapped people. So this is what landscape architects do. They create barrier-free, environmentally sensitive environments so that humans can expand sensitively into land we need. We need to have services and stores for people. This is what makes life good. And we can't just stop development, but we have to do it in a sensible way. We have to realize that the earth has a carrying capacity, and that all designers ought to be considering that, including Elon Musk. Elon, we shouldn't be going to space. Okay, you got parking lot over there, a landscape architect can't even design. He puts in a massive expanse of pavement for no reason, okay? We can't even get that right. You want to go to Mars? You want to go to other planets? I think you need to think twice, my friend. I think you need to use the iterative process on your own philosophy. How many times have you thought to yourself, maybe going to space isn't the right idea? I think you may be trapped in your own vision, and you're not being critical enough about humanity. You have a good vision, but I don't think it's thought through all the way. You don't have a way to carry culture and symbolism and meaning into space with you. And that is a huge problem. And what's going to happen is 2-3 generations out in space, you're going to have a devolution in the social organization, and it's going to be worse than it was here on Earth, because they have no culture anchoring them. And what you get, you're going to end up with the kind of institutional gaslighting I got, but on steroids. Okay, that's what happens if you go to space and you don't have the social system and the organic system to take with you. Your thing dies in 2 generations. What a waste of time. Meantime, you're polluting the earth with your rockets. And what was that thing that blew up and it shoots across the sky like 75 meteors, and you don't hear a peep out of the media about how that's polluting people, coming down on their heads, wafting over from the ocean. Who knows what people are breathing because of Elon Musk, right? You don't hear a peep out of it. Look, Elon, I think you're doing good work. I reached all these realizations because I use your tools, Grok especially. So you need to take some advice from people, okay? That's what people tell me all the time, and I do. They think I don't, but I do. I internalize everything people tell me. Half the time they got their ass up their head up their ass, right? I don't have my head up my ass, Elon. I know what I'm talking about. I thought a lot about it. And I'm not caught up in all these 40 engineering projects. I have time to think deeply about individual things. And that's how I came up with Pecumtuck's State of Mind. And I hope y'all join me. It's just a shift of thinking. That's all you need to do.